Terroir. I'm Simon Jacob, your host for this episode from Jerusalem. Before we get started, I ask that wherever you are, please take a moment and pray for the safety of our soldiers and the safe return of all of our hostages. Welcome back to the Kosher Terroir, the podcast where we journey through landscapes, legends, and layers of kosher wine from around the world. In this episode, we venture to Sena, a rugged and breathtaking mountainous settlement near Geva Binyamin, just outside of Jerusalem. Perched above steep drops into the Jordan Valley, this dramatic terrain is home to Gilad Winery, a boutique gem producing wines as elegant and nuanced as the land itself. We're joined by Chaim Sackton, the owner and winemaker behind Gilad Winery. With a background in hands-on viticulture and a deep reverence for the Mediterranean climate, Chaim crafts lighter, more approachable wines that are perfect for this sun-drenched terroir. Adding to this journey is Itzhak Stern, one of Israel's most beloved wine tour guides. Together, we step into the barrel room and sip through a collection of elegant, terroir-driven wines that define kosher Mediterranean style. This isn't just a tasting, it's a story of vision, place, and passion, all poured into every bottle. If you're driving in your car, please focus on the road ahead. If you're relaxing at home, please uncork something fresh and join us as we explore this boutique winery known as Gilad.
Gilad Winery we're located here in Yishuv Sena.
Okay.
We're on the border of the desert, and the view looking east is Shevet Reuven, is the Gilad Mountain region.
That was the first question I had for you. It's such an important name. How did you pick it for the winery and why?
So when I was looking for a name, and I was looking for a short name that works in English and represents biblical and Israeli wine. I'm not looking to be an American.
Yeah.
I started off actually with my last name, Sackton Winery.
Right.
But it's just too
That's
American.
What I thought.
It's just too American.
Okay.
I walk out, drinking my coffee in the morning, looking outside on the view, and I see Gilad Mountains. Right. And I'm saying, wait a second, this is Gilad, and Gilad is a beautiful name. Right. So that's what it is.
Very cool.
Now the name Midba, basically all my wines, I took the names, biblical names from the Gilad region. So the first series we're talking about Midba, it's there's an Arab town that still exists till today. It's called Madaba. It's in Jordan. Yeah. And it's brought down in Sefer Bamidbar on Shevet Reuven that they went to Midba. So there is a biblical city there. There's a famous map that they found in Midba. The mosaic map, the most antique map of Jerusalem, basically. Wow. So that's one of my ideas are to put a map one day on the Midba series, but it's kind of mosaic. It doesn't fit the modern look, but somehow I'll have to fit it in.
Tell me the first series. What does it include? It includes a Chenin.
It includes a Chenin Blanc, Rosé, and a blend of GSM.
Okay, so the rosé is made out of what?
The rosé is made out of Merlot, straight Merlot.
Okay.
I got the grapes from Har Bracha. I have a vineyard over there. I buy my grapes. Most of my grapes I've been buying from this area and the area over here. This is a vineyard in Har Bracha that has very high acidity.
Okay.
So it fits for rosé.
Perfect.
I've been making rosé out of a Merlot for a couple of years. We're very happy with it. And Bezrat Hashem will continue.
And the last one?
The next one is a red wine. It's a GSM. It's a light wine. It's very nice. The grapes are actually not from this area. They're from up north, from the Galil. What should I say about it?
It's a real Grenache Syrah Merved.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The percentages are more Grenache and Syrah, more Grenache, more red, as a drop of Syrah.
Okay.
It's basically a Grenache.
I love Grenache heavy wines. And I love wines that have a lot of Grenache because they're very light and they're just beautiful.
So you'll like this wine. Okay. It's almost a rosé, and the taste. I mean, and not it's a red wine, and it has the qualities of red wine, but it's very light. Okay. I pushed it a lot before Leila Seder for people that have a hard time drinking, heavy wines and the Arbacosas, and
so
it
what's
worked.
The alcohol level?
13.
It's 13. Okay.
It's 13.
Okay. Cool.
It's not always about the alcohol level. It's about the soaking of the grapes, and also Grenache is a light grape, so it doesn't have to be. It's not about the alcohol level. I mean, usually when you have the high alcohol, it means the grapes were harvested later, but not always.
Grenache is one of my favorite varietals.
Okay, so I'm happy I have it. That's the first GSM I ever made.
Cool. Okay. This next level. How many levels are there?
There's 4.
4. Okay.
The next one is called Nachal Yabok. Nachal Yabok is the border of Gilad and Bashan. Okay. It's obviously we still have that Nachal today.
Yeah.
We have Yaakov Avinu. We know he passed in Ma'avar Yabok, so it's a famous name.
Yeah.
In the series of Nachal Yabok, I have a straight cab.
Yeah.
And I have a blend Bordeaux. It's Cab Merlot Petit Verdot.
Cool.
So these two are just a little, they're I would say, more of a wine, red wine, full body, has, I would say in Hebrew, more nechechut. So that's the Nachal Yabok.
Presence. I was going to say presence. Okay. Yes. Cool.
And these are aged, also the first series, the Midba, is aged for 12 months, the red wine. These are aged for 14 months. And
aged on oak?
Aged on oak. The rosé and the white are 2024. So these are not aged in barrels at all.
Okay. But the GSM is?
The GSM is aged for 12 months.
Yeah.
The Nachal Yabok is aged for 14 months.
Okay.
The next one is these two. I have something called Betzel. So a series of, the name Betzel is a little bit deeper because you don't have it. You're not going to find a name Betzel today in the Gilad region.
Yep.
Because it doesn't, it's an ancient name. It's brought down in Sefer Bamidbar as Betzel Bamidbar. It was an Ir Miklat.
Okay. Wow.
So it was an Ir Levim that they went to. It was
appropriate with the Daf Yomi. We just went through all the Ir Miklat.
So you had Betzel Bamidbar.
Yeah.
So Betzel is I looked it up basically where it's located. It's more to the right. It's on top of the Dead Sea. Nachal Yabok is all the way up north. I would say the furthest part of Gilad. So Betzel is more on the south side of Gilad region.
Okay.
So that's another name I took from the Gilad. The next wine is something out of the box. If you look at the label, is also totally different.
Yeah.
I made a wine over here, and usually I make a wine. All these wines are 20. This is 2023. This is 2021, and I'm coming out with my 23s very soon.
Yes.
Because the Betzer is aged for 18 months in a barrel. Okay. So I still have the 2023 is still in the barrel. I'm about to bottle it.
22 you didn't do it on?
22 I didn't make wine. Okay. So the Heritage was a wine that I made, and I wouldn't say it didn't come out good, but after I aged it, the grapes were very good, and I aged it for 2 years in a barrel.
Yeah.
And after tasting it, after 2 years, the barrel was just too much, and I couldn't. The value of what I invested in the wine, I could not sell it for the price I wanted to sell it for.
Okay.
So I continued to age it for another 2 years until I felt it was worth to sell it.
Yeah.
And then I went to a graphic artist and I asked him to just give me something out of the box. Nothing to do with my winery. Something, like on top of everything.
Right.
So I came up with the name Heritage. So that's it. And it's a blend of Cab and Petit Verdot.
Yeah.
24 months in a barrel. Not only in a barrel, it's actually in new barrels. So It's a very high investment. And I'm very proud of the product.
So at the end of all of it, this is almost like the flagship of what you do?
This is my flagship.
This is your flagship. Okay.
Yes. I didn't come out with Heritage since 19.
Okay.
I mean, we went through 20, 21, 22, I didn't make one, 23, I didn't make. 2024, I have enough quality wine that I could come out with another Heritage.
Okay.
It's all about quality.
Okay.
That's what it's about.
So that's why you weren't happy with it before.
I wasn't happy with it, not because it was not a good wine. I wasn't happy with it because the quality was so high, and I could tell by the grape what type of wine I'm going to get. Over here, I knew I'm going to get a 300 shekel bottle of wine.
Right.
After 2 years in the bottle, it tastes to me like a 100 shekel bottle of wine.
Okay.
And that was my problem. So
it wasn't approachable.
After 2 years in the barrel.
After 2 years, it was. I can't really explain in words what it was. It's hard to explain. I don't know what it was. It was just the flavors were too mellow.
Okay.
The barrel took over. It was very, very woody, and you couldn't taste the fruit.
And then 2 years more.
2 years more in the
bottle
changed the form of the wine to a whole different world.
So I've heard that in the barrel as well. I've heard that in the barrel as well. That if you leave it in the barrel, give it more, it ends up
becoming less.
It ends up flipping that. Yeah.
Interesting.
So the truth is, I mean, I brought a winemaker after a year that was in the barrel. Because it was new barrels, the whole thing. Usually, I don't do, in all these series, I don't do everything new barrels. I do a third of new barrels, the rest of used ones.
And then you blend it.
That's not even, it's a normal thing. Now, this was a very high investment, and I put 24 new barrels, and I brought a winemaker, and I told him the wine tastes like wood. And there's such a thing, the Israeli, it's like tamina garia, it's like a carpenter, too much, why to do that? And I was like, it tastes like wood. And he's like, it's going to calm down. Put it for another year, it's going to calm down even more. And it didn't make sense.
I know, but it does.
It's
crazy.
But it took another 2 years.
So it wasn't in the bottle, it was actually in the barrel you left it for 4 years.
No. I bottled it after 2 years.
Okay.
After 2 years, I decided it's going to bottling. Okay. After the bottling, I wait a month, 2 months, bottling shock. And then I see the wine is not proving itself, and it's just not worth it.
So you just left it?
So I just left it.
Cool.
I kept it in storage, and it took me a long time to, come out with a name, label, and the whole thing. And now it also has a nice box. So it took. Besides the time that I had to wait, it took 2 years, and then another couple of months, and Baruch Hashem, now it's out on the market.
So you feel very happy about this one?
Yes, I'm happy.
Okay.
I'm happy with all of them.
But it's just... No, I know. I get it. Tell me a little bit about this one, because it's a cab. The Petit Verdot is a really an incredible grape as well. So tell me what this blend achieves. What does it come out like?
This is, I mean... I'll tell you something. Sometimes it's the opposite of the wines that I make, because I make lighter wines, and I would so call it easier to drink.
Yep.
This is kind of the opposite. This is full body. It's not light. It's super heavy. The Petit Verdot is strong in here. There's 40% of Petit Verdot. So it's there, and also the 2 years in the barrel that gave a lot to the wine.
Cool.
So, and the main thing is, there's 2 vineyards of the Petit Verdot and the Cab. They were very special, just very, very special. And I've been buying the same grapes for years after this, and I didn't get the same quality.
Where are they located?
So the Petit Verdot is in Kerem and Zimra, and the Cab is in Safsufa.
Okay.
So they're both Upper Galil.
Right there.
The Betzer 21 is a straight Petit Verdot. It's 100% Petit Verdot. It's also full body because it's a straight Petit Verdot, and it's the same vineyard also. But it's
not like the Petit Verdot that went into this.
That was a better quality.
Okay.
So I decided to go on a straight Petit Verdot over here, but the quality over here was a drop higher.
Very cool. how did you get here? What's the origin story? Because a number of the people who listen to my podcast, I guess the majority of people who listen to the podcast come from America, and they are from the U.S. And there's a whole bunch of people who are wannabe winemakers. They would love to come to Israel, especially, and make wine. Tell me a little bit about what drove you. How did you get here, and how did you start making wine?
Okay, so I was born and raised in Eretz Israel.
Cool.
I'll start with that. My parents made Aliyah, and I got into the wine through my father, actually. My father makes wine up to today.
Okay.
He started in the 70s. So he started, and the idea of just, having wine as something was missing in the world. And he never opened up a winery. He just made his own wine.
Okay.
And I was helping him make the wine for a couple of years. And at a certain point, I decided I'm going to open up my own winery. I mean, it took me a lot of time because I went to study therapy. I went to do a lot of other things before I decided to become a winemaker. It was not my first thing to go to.
Okay.
And also, when I went to study the wine, so I realized it's a tough business. It's hard to make money out of it.
Right.
It's agriculture. It's basically, I'm taking an agriculture fruit and turning it into another agriculture thing, and then go sell it. So that's the hard part about it. The fun part about it is I love making wine. I love drinking wine, and also the idea of just seeing the form of taking a grape and turning it into something much higher. So that's very special. And today I don't do so much about the lab because I send it out to outside labs, but just the whole thing of the physics of the lab is very, very interesting. It's fascinating. So that drew me into it.
Did you have a specific vision in founding the winery? That a vision as to where you wanted to go with it, or?
Yes, I would say it because I have all different types of wines over here. Yeah. So my vision when I went to school, and also my vision making wine, was always going on the lighter side. That means less soaking, less alcohol, making a lighter wine that's just fun to drink and not always has to fit with food.
Right.
Just as itself, I like drinking wine. I don't have to fit the wine with a piece of meat or a piece of cheese. I don't have to down the wine. I have to enjoy just drinking the wine itself. My wines are less acidic, or I would call it on the higher side of the higher side of
the fruitiness.
Yeah, the fruitiness.
Okay.
The thing is with sales, sometimes it's opposite. So I do have the two types. I have to give the clientele both the whole world basically. So let's say the GSM is more the one that I would go to, more than the Heritage, that they're triple the price. The Heritage is triple the price. I would go to the GSM because that's me. I like the lighter wines. They're easier. They're fun. I can enjoy it. So I started off my love with light wines. I started off with a straight Mourvèdre.
Okay.
I opened up the winery over here in 2016. The first vintage I made wine over here, but I've been making wine with my father for years. I think since 2003. So I was working with, basically back then we had one farmer we would get all our grapes from. He was a guy in Moshav Mata. Okay. And I used to sit with him a lot, and he would always talk about making light wines, picking the grapes early and before getting all these fun, not waiting too long on the tree, picking it early and making a nice light wine out of it. And a lot of my focus was on the Mourvèdre. I actually made Mourvèdre for a couple of years, straight Mourvèdre for a couple of years straight, and sales were hard, so I stopped.
People today, are coming around to the varietals now.
Today it's coming back, in a certain way. So I did make a Mourvèdre, and I decided it's going to be easier for me to sell it on the name of GSM more than a straight Mourvèdre. Maybe one day I'll come back to it, but that's the thing. I mean, my cab still has the highest demand.
Right. Yeah, but that's people. So it just is. That's what they are. They do that.
So that's what I'm saying. I have to have the cab on my list, and that's part of it. And I actually have it on the lower series also because I want to have the cab so people could buy it. But it's not my one to. I mean, it's not. I like cab, but it's not my first go-to.
So you've gotten a lot of incredible feedback about your Petit Verdot.
Mm-hmm.
That's been something that's been you get a lot of acclaim from what I've seen. How did you pick the amount of aging? Because Petit Verdot is a uniquely kind of powerful grape.
I taste the wines, I would say, once in 4 or 5 months throughout the barrels.
Yeah.
And then I start deciding which wine is going to what series. I mean, obviously, when I get the grapes, I already know what series I'm making, so I know where the grapes are going to. But if, let's say, I would have a Petit Verdot, I have someone that goes to the Nachal Yabok, that's one series, that's a lower series, and it's a blend. And I have the Petit Verdot, that's a straight Petit Verdot. So that obviously has to go to the higher series, and it has to be very, very high quality because it's just a straight Petit Verdot.
Cool.
So that I do after a couple of months of sitting in the barrel. I do a tasting, and I rate the barrels. I did, let's say, the past vintage. I got three different Petit Verdots. So I'll go back and I'm saying, from the grapes, I know which ones are my professional ones.
Right.
I know which ones are the higher quality ones, and those automatically are going to go to the higher quality wines. But after a couple of months in the barrel, you could start tasting a difference, and sometimes there's surprises.
So on those surprises, tell me about one unconventional decision you made in the cellar that really surprised you.
That's a good question.
Well, I would even say maybe this decision here, which is conventional in Rioja, but the idea of getting your wine and saying it's not ready for release and leaving it 2 years in a bottle before releasing it, that's unconventional for Israel a lot of times.
Yeah,
right.
It's really unconventional.
Right,
but there are other places where it's dictated by the appellation.
Right, but this was a financial decision because I just couldn't sell it for 100 shekel. Mm-hmm. I knew the price is going to be much higher if I would age it.
Mm-hmm. Hashem. Do you rack the wines out of the barrels?
It depends on the year.
Okay.
It depends. Yes, I do.
Okay.
After 6 months or after 8 months, I taste the barrels.
Yeah.
And then I create the blends. Okay. So that means I'm racking it.
Right. Okay.
It usually happens this time of year.
Are any of the wines that you produce, are any of those wines, you feel like they're underappreciated, that you feel like this is really a special wine?
No, I think it's interesting. It's interesting because I'm the one who decides the price of the wine.
Right. And
when you get into pricing, so that's basically, it's appreciation.
Right.
So there's a lot of things behind it. I want the market to have a cheaper wine. I want the market to have an expensive wine. There's a lot of things behind it, but there's also a lot of appreciation. And even in 100 shekel bottle, I would expect it to have less appreciation, and it's getting more appreciation than what that I would expect. So we're on the opposite side.
Okay. In going through the wines, what's the volume of wines that you produce? Because it looks like you're producing a lot more than I thought you were. So,
okay, so I'm a small winery.
Yeah.
I just grew. I started off with 10,000 bottles.
Yeah. That's a good level, to be honest, for a small winery. 10,000 bottles is actually pretty reasonable.
10,000 bottles is reasonable if I would sell all the wine out of the winery.
Right.
I sell also to the US and also in Israel through distributors. So I have to grow. Right now I'm holding by almost 20,000. That's why there's nowhere to move in here.
Right.
And hopefully we're going to grow. That's my head is going towards the growth. That's where we're going to.
So, in the next 5 years, what's the plan? To build a bigger winery?
The next 5 years, we're going to have Bezrat Hashem, a bigger winery.
Yeah.
And hopefully we're going to hold by 50,000 bottles. Okay. And a beautiful visiting center.
Please God. I love this location, though. I'm just telling you. To look out over the mountains and down into, down across towards Jordan into the, into the Jordan Valley is just awesome from here.
You know that you can see my house from here. I'm not even kidding.
Really?
Like when you say, "Oh, I can see my house from there," when you go out to the street here, you look across the Kelt, the Wadi Kelt.
Yep.
You can actually see alone where I live.
Wow.
So I planted a vineyard over here. That's also part of the next vision of the winery.
Yeah.
It's not just having a winery; it's having your own vineyards. It's also the fruit, also the produce of what that I'm getting is I'll have a little bit more control. And it's another thing is more the tourist is bringing people and having the experience of not just the winery, it's also the agriculture, bringing them out to see the vineyards, see the trees throughout the year. It's very interesting.
When did you move here?
12 years ago.
Wow, it must have been all alone.
12 years ago, there were 25 families over here.
Okay.
Right now, we're 100 families. Yeah.
But they built all of a dome.
Right. It developed in the past 10 years like
crazy.
Crazy. It changed.
Right.
The value of the property was nothing. We had no paved roads. I'm saying I went through 2 or 3 cars that, just driving on these dirt roads, it just kills the car. We had no mikvah. We had no playground. My older kids, they went through childhood without playing a playground. Nothing. Like
you live in a playground. You're in the mountains.
Yes, but sometimes the small things. My wife does yoga, and so these small things that kids they hang on a ladder. It's important. So today we have it, Baruch Hashem.
Falling from a ladder is important too.
Falling from a ladder.
Yeah. Well,
so these small things.
So one of the things that you've built your reputation on is like really very high quality, hands-on. So one of the responsibilities with scaling is to keep that hands-on.
Right. So I would say that basically good wine comes from good grapes.
Yeah. And
my job is basically to make sure I'm getting good grapes every single year. I do try to get the same vineyards that I work with. That's how I know I'm getting my same grapes and also the same taste, more so-called same area of taste, same idea of wine. So I do have already for a couple of years, I've been working with the same vineyards and I know what I'm getting. And that's the point. The point is to continue with quality or focus on quality as much as possible.
So in your mind, wine is made in the vineyard or wine is made in the winery?
It's a very good question, but basically, wine is made in the winery.
Okay.
I help some people make wine, and that means that they're getting my same quality grapes, and I can't drink their wine.
Right.
So the answer is wine is made in the winery. The winemaker's job is not to ruin the good grapes. So there's a lot of people that just ruin it.
Right.
But the process of making the wine is obviously, it's a job.
Very cool. Let's taste some. Can we taste?
Sure.
What would you suggest we taste first?
I'll ask Yitzchak because he did taste the wines, and I'll ask him what he thinks.
I would say, first of all, the GSM is a must, and the rosé was
Did you
very
taste the
good.
Chenin?
Yes.
Okay.
Between that and the rosé, I prefer the rosé.
Okay.
But all three were very good, and the GSM I found was, like he said, you expect one thing and people are blown away by it. So it's
I definitely underestimated the GSM. It's so called and up to a stage that I didn't make it again.
Okay.
That means I passed the basically, if it's aged for 12 months in a bottle, so from making the wine until getting it into the bottle, we're talking about 15, 16 months. That means I passed the 2024 vintage and I decided I'm not making the GSM because it was underestimated.
Okay. And now when you're tasting it?
Now when I'm tasting it,
there's going to be a 2025. Not even
hopefully it'll even come out better. This is the first GSM, so we'll focus on it even higher.
Wow. Okay. I'd love to try it.
Okay, so we got some cheeses.
Okay.
It might work a little bit, even though the GSM, most of my wines don't need food, but it goes.
You haven't seen the vineyard yet, right?
No.
I think, Chaim, if you have time for that, or if not, I can show them as well.
Yeah, we should go out to the vineyard.
It's a vineyard with the most beautiful view I've seen. And then, I checked out, after I left last time, I went to check out the Golani thing. Mm-hmm. There's a beautiful andarta, like a memorial that they made for the
41 soldiers.
For the 13, right?
Yeah.
For the 13th battalion of Golani. Absolutely beautiful. For those who were killed during Iron Swords.
Wow.
Right next to your vineyard.
Okay, so we're trying now the GSM.
This is the GSM, yes. You could see the colors.
Yeah. And I can smell it too.
Okay.
That's really lovely.
I find it's like incredibly smooth. We have that tart cherry and even a little bit of like something herbaceous, like a little bit of green.
Yeah.
But it's nice.
The thing that's crazy with it is the finish. Mm-hmm. The finish is just really, really lovely. I think you spot on picked the flavors coming off of it.
Think what?
No, he was describing it with the cherry and the green herbaceousness as well. A little bit of greenness to it. It's
yeah.
Was one of the varieties harvested early, or?
I think the Syrah.
It would make sense as well.
Yeah.
You're also getting on the nose a little bit of that Syrah, like the pepper. Yeah. Even though you said it's a very small amount of Syrah in here.
Yeah, but
it's like 17%.
Okay. It's not like 3.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No.
No, it's definitely there.
It's lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
On the Hebrew label, I didn't write the amounts. On the English label, I had to write the amounts.
Who do you sell through in the United States?
Emerald.
Oh, okay.
Ari.
Okay. Wow. So where is it available in the U.S.? Across the whole U.S. or mainly in the New York metropolitan area? Or?
Mostly in the tri-state area.
Okay.
But guess who just got it?
Who?
Our buddy Elk.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Chaim didn't know. I'm like, just so you know, you've just hit South Florida.
Yeah.
And hopefully make a splash.
Right. So I think most of it is still sold in the tri-state area, but they're working on getting out there. So
the reason I ended up here is because Elk texted me and said, "Hey, listen, I ordered his wines. I ordered Chaim's wines, and I had these two. I tasted the two heavier reds, the Nachal Yabok reds.
Yeah,
I believe it was.
Typical. Mm-hmm.
And he said, but I ordered all of them, but I haven't tasted the Midbar series. Do me a favor, can you drive out there, taste them, and let me know?" I'm like, yeah, but you'll find out anyways. He goes, I need the peace of mind.
Yeah.
So I realized it was close to my home, and I let him know, 2 thumbs up, and you're good to go.
What else should we try? Petit Verdot.
I was going to say, you're a Petit Verdot guy.
Yeah, can we try it?
I would say either the 100% or even the Nachal Yabok has 33% Petit Verdot. It's actually, it's 34, 33, 33.
Okay.
So
what's
one
the
of those.
Combination?
It's, this one is Cab Merlot Petit Verdot.
Okay.
Really at a third. And then the Betzer is 100% Petit Verdot. I would say one of those two, honestly. Or even here, Syrah Petit Verdot.
So we're moving up to the next wine?
Yes, could we?
Sure. מה אתה ממליץ?
משהו עם פטי ורדו, הייתי אומר, אז
אוקיי.
1, 2 או 3 או 4, אבל
I do want to
Le'azani.
taste the heritage last. That's why.
Okay, so the blend, it's still on the. I mean, it's a Bordeaux blend.
Yeah.
But it's not. I wouldn't call it a very full body wine. It's somewhere.
It's also a lighter one.
It's also. All my wines are on the lighter side. I mean, even the straight Petit Verdot, because I don't soak the grapes for too long. That's the thing. So don't expect from it to be. I mean, it's way. It's red wine. It's not a GSM.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But it's not. You're not going to have a heavy Petit Verdot taste. So we're going for this.
You want the blend?
Let's try it.
Blend.
Let's try it.
I found it very interesting though that it's really like a third of the wine.
Right.
It's it's not like mainly Cab and Merlot with a little bit. It's
A third.
It's fascinating.
So over here, automatically, the smell is already more fruity. You have a much full-bodied smell.
Absolutely. It's already deeper.
Yeah, deeper smells. But I had this on Shabbos. It was very light.
By the way, I had your GSM on Shabbos. It was very much, very well accepted. You're right. It's not what you would expect. You'd expect something, especially when you see the Cab and more tannin and heavy. And this is just, it's nice. It's fun and gentle.
I'm making this blend. I would say since 2018. Same blend. And they're just amazing. I mean, I love it.
Definitely follows what you were saying, your vision and your preferred style of wine drinking and then by extension winemaking.
Right. That's what it is. This represents the Gilad.
Absolutely.
Philosophy.
Yeah.
Philosophy, there you go. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah.
Delicious.
It is. It's delicious as well.
I know it's delicious. That I know. It doesn't fit everybody's taste buds because it's some like you were saying, like you see a Cab, you expect it to be like
the super
full
big
tannins and round, and this whole thing is like it's not kicking you. So it's friendly.
Approachable. Totally approachable.
Definitely approachable.
Okay. Totally approachable.
Simon, if I learned anything about tasting wine from your story with the orange wines, you can't approach a wine with a defined category in your head because it just might not fit, and then you'll think it's not as good.
Right.
And so just approach a wine as it is. Sometimes
100%.
it's its own category, and
100%. I agree. I really agree.
So that was the thing when I started selling wine. I would tell people you can't approach my wine with expectations because you don't know the wine. Mm-hmm. But then they approach it and they're like, it's not my style. So I was like, okay, so that's what it is. If you're looking for a full body wine, this is not the style you're looking for.
It's a little sad that we get caught up in these boxes that we create in our minds and don't open up to appreciate something a little bit new and different. Flam came out with their white label because of that. Mm-hmm. He was tired of people telling him that, no, they're not drinking the wine, they won't like it. What do you mean you won't like it? I read the label, I don't need to, I won't like it. And he said, do me a favor, don't read the label, just taste the wine.
Exactly.
And it was like, it was a big deal.
I was saying it drives me crazy, from the industry. Sometimes I'm thinking like, this wine's good and that wine's good. Why do you need so many wines and so many wineries? If it was all blind, I need a wine with my steak. It'll be fine. But then suddenly we want there to be a Yaakov Gilad and we want there to be a Yaakov Agur and we want there to be a Castel Winery and all these wineries specifically because of their story. I think it adds so much to it. So I guess I'm on the fence there with the blind and.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I agree that a blind tasting, you should be able to do a blind tasting and just come up with what you think is the best wine. Mm-hmm. But
there's something to be said about sitting down and knowing what you're drinking and enjoying it with friends.
I've just found that I guess I have a bias that's built in. though I try very hard to keep my my mind a little bit opened, or a lot opened. So that's also lovely wine.
It's easy in this case, yeah.
Yep.
That's the good one.
So now we're going to try the heritage.
Now we're going to try the heritage. This one I put wax on.
The heritage.
The stamps also over
Well,
here.
that, but also on the that you showed me with the.
I have a stamp. You see, there's a stamp on the wax.
Yeah.
And I have a stamp also for my bags. I have this cardboard bag, like paper cardboard bag.
A bag?
Yeah, paper bag.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So instead, I buy it blank, and then I put my stamp on it.
Right.
So that gives...
That logo lends itself to be a stamp, a raw stamp.
Right. So in this wine, I also put, I would say, a cork, a real cork, the Chamalé.
Yeah.
Really?
Wow.
The truth is, I wouldn't say I'm disappointed, but I'm happy I work with these corks.
What's your usual cork?
This is, it's called Vink. It's a compressed cork. Very, very high quality. You could look at it. It could last for, they have different ones that different years, but I'm saying it could sit in the bottle for 5 to 10 years and it looks good. The whole corks are, somehow it's on a scale. Not all of them are good. These were very expensive, these corks. Because I knew it's an expensive bottle, I had to invest. It's part of the game.
Yep, absolutely.
So it's part of the game. Someone opens up a bottle. You have the black color over here.
Right.
It's like it talks to you in a certain way. So yes, every bottle of wine I open, I would look at the cork and even smell the cork.
Yeah.
So this, that's why also I keep them and laying down to have it damp and to have the wine on the cork. It does something to it. It represents something. So in a certain way, it did a job, but on the other hand, I don't really believe in it. It's like.
So this is super, super deep.
You can see the difference, like two different worlds.
Heavier, but like silky kind of mouthfeel. Like it fills your mouth.
Yeah, and the tannins are very strongly there. So this has been...
It's a 2019.
Yeah.
It's 24 months in a barrel.
Yep.
24 months in a bottle. And now it's out for sale. So it took... it's already 5 years from the harvest.
Right. Wow.
And it still has a way to go.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a long way to go. Before Pesach, I had a lot of sales with this, and I told a couple of stores that I didn't make it. I didn't repeat the winemaking again because I didn't have such quality wine. So they said they're gonna put away. It's like
Bring it out in a few years.
yeah. So soon I'm gonna run out of the wine, and some
Stores are going to still have
stores are gonna have it.
That happens. That's part of life.
I love when that happens, when you have like a winemaker tasting and somebody pulls out a bottle that he hasn't seen in years because his winery ran out and the stores ran out and you've been cellaring it. And it's like, wow, I can't believe it's still in it. To blow the winemaker's mind with his own wine that he hasn't seen in years is always a very special experience.
Right.
That's what I typically do. I
Yeah,
try to do.
exactly.
I have wines that some of the wineries don't have anymore. And they've gotten better. So it's really, I'm thankful.
Right. No, people ask me all the time why I don't age wines, and my answer is it's not my business.
Your business is to make wine and sell wine.
Sell it.
Right.
Next.
And people they say it's going to be much better. The value's going to. I said perfect. So
That's exactly why you
buy
want to
it
sell
and
it.
put it away. If you think so buy it and put it away. Because it's not my business. So, I mean, I do keep just for storage, but not, the amounts I have are nothing.
I wonder what your response would be like if you saw your wines going again later, like a secondhand market, right? Like in 10 years, you've sold this year, next year, God willing, you're done with it. 10 years, you see people start selling this as like a very high value.
I'll be very happy.
Phil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it proved itself. That means that it made it. First thing is, my name is going in front of me. It's that expensive
your
wines,
heritage.
I tell people, expensive wines is not about quality. It's about name. And I mean, this is an expensive bottle of wine. So there's one thing is I created a name, so people can trust me that I'm making good wines. For the past 10 years, Baruch Hashem, I could say, okay, I came out with an expensive bottle of wine. Second thing is, let's see continue in that way. And let's see where it's going to be holding. Now, if somebody's going to take this bottle 3-4 years from now and sell it for, I mean, let's say 100% more. So it would make me happy. It means the wine actually
Absolutely.
is holding. But it's not my business. My business is to sell wine. I can't hold on to wine for too long.
Of the wine that you've produced from Gilad, if you had
That you've
any of
crafted.
those wines, yes, if you had any of those wines, which wine would you pick to open tonight, and who would you open it with?
So we're talking about a series of different wines, and each one has a different flavor.
Yeah.
Now, tonight means just a regular day in the middle of the week of opening up a bottle of wine. So I would always go on the lighter side.
Okay.
Because it's easier to drink, it's fun, and we're talking about sitting down with a friend for dinner, even without dinner, just sitting on a bottle of wine, smoking a cigar. I would always go on the lighter side. I would not go on the rosé and the whites because, like at nighttime, if we're talking about at nighttime, so I would definitely prefer the reds.
Yep.
I would go for a GSM.
The GSM.
Yeah.
And what would you pair with that for food?
So, I'll tell you something out of the box.
Okay.
I prefer to drink light wines with food than heavy, full-body wines with food.
Yep.
In a certain way, you would think that the heritage would go with a good piece of steak because they're both a lot of flavors and very deep flavors.
Yep.
On the other hand, I'm blocking the flavors because I'm not getting the full potential of each one because I'm blocking the flavors because they're both full body. If I take steak and I would drink it with a light wine, in a certain way, it's going to go down much easier. So,
you know what I would drink with this? You know what I would eat with this? Here we start. Chocolate chip cookies.
I was going to say dark chocolate.
Chocolate chip cookies.
That was close.
I love chocolate chip cookies with a heavy wine, with a real.
Absolutely.
It's just
right. So
it's that's you can keep the steak with whatever else, but at the end when I hit dessert, and if I don't have any wine left over, and we've made chocolate chip cookies, I actually almost have to open a bottle of wine in order to have dessert.
and ideally like a fruity red.
A big bold red, because it just goes.
Listen, the dessert wines usually are full body. I mean, they could be sweet, but they're very rich with flavors.
I like those. I like those special fruity, sweet dessert wines, but they go with certain desserts, but they don't go with like chocolate chip cookies. And this would do great with it. Unbelievable. We're going to go take a look at the.
We're going to take a look at the vineyard.
I can't tell you how thankful I am for coming out here just because of the breathtaking vista that surrounds this house. It's like unbelievable. You can see into Jordan. You can see down into towards the Dead Sea. I don't know if you can see the Dead Sea from here. I didn't see that, but
on a nice day, it depends on the weather.
See it.
It depends on the weather.
You can actually see down into the valley. It's crazy.
Yeah. Usually the mornings, so the sun shines on the water.
Yes.
So then you can see the water shine back. So it's nice.
Well, what I want to know is the manual labor that you do here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot. Do you bring guys in to help out, at times of work?
So there's different things I do bring. Actually, crushing the grapes, I have full machinery. Mm-hmm. I could almost get all the grapes without... The main problem started off with crushing the grapes is always very high pressure because I'm also in the vineyard. I'm there physically. I'm checking the grapes, and I'm dealing with trucks bringing the grapes, and it has to come as quick as possible. And then I have to have a lot of workers to make sure it's in the basement as quick as possible because usually it's in the middle of August.
You don't want it to get hot.
So I don't want it to get hot. So that part I took care of. I got machines. I could literally I could get like 5 or 6 tons of grapes with zero pressure. Mm-hmm. Zero. I have a forklift. I have a machine that flips it into the crusher.
Wow.
I have a pump. Everything's upstairs.
Like moving barrels down here.
So I do everything upstairs. Now, I have a long pipe that comes down here, and these vats, they fill up. The barrels have to get out of here. These barrels are here. They're not supposed to be in here. This room is made for winemaking, mm-hmm. not wine aging. Yeah. My next process is I'm labeling all these bottles, and I'm moving the barrels to here. Okay. This has to happen before the summer.
And then we'll get like a nice glass.
Not put it in the glass. Whatever. The bottles, they got to get out of here.
Yeah, he can. Yeah.
So, and then the only thing is I have to have one person.
I was going to ask you, where do you put the vats?
Because the vats are all inside each other. They're all here.
They're all inside each other.
So your pipe comes down from here with the grape juice.
I have a hole in the wall.
It'll go straight into the vats.
It goes straight into the vats.
But the vats have to be not inside each other. They have to be out.
That's what I'm saying. That's why right now I have barrels in the room.
You're answering a question I had because I looked around and I said, I see the barrels and I see the bottles and I see how you could do it. But how in the world, where are you fermenting this stuff? So
when I come to the fermenting process.
Yeah. All those barrels have to be gone.
The vats, I have there's 1,000 liters and 700 liters and 8, so they fit inside each other.
They nest.
And the whole room is literally, you can't walk into the room.
Yeah.
They're all like.
I was wondering where.
I leave a small path.
I thought there was another room that I haven't seen because I was wondering that exactly. I was looking around. Going, how in the world do you ferment anything? Thank you. Thank you for coming out here. Being on the Kosher Terroir. And really, I'm so happy because you're one of the people I really wanted to sit down and talk to. This is Simon Jacob again, your host of today's episode of the Kosher Terroir. I have a personal request. No matter where you are or where you live, please take a moment to pray for our soldiers' safety and the safe and rapid return of our hostages. Please subscribe via your podcast provider to be informed of our new episodes as they are released. If you're new to the Kosher Terroir, please check out our many past episodes.